Hey everyone, Tony here. Hope you're doing well. It is Thursday, November 8th. I have some positive news for you guys. First, I did want to take a look at the market here. As we saw starting yesterday, we had a pullback, a correction from the run-up that we saw from the Bitcoin Cash fork, as well as XRP seeing a heavy pump, and the entire market was moving there. But, from an hourly and 24-hour perspective, we are seeing some spotty green and just a little bit of red. But let's see how this plays out. That's why I said when this run-up started with Bitcoin Cash and XRP, I said, let's let it play out. Let's see how it does for 2 weeks. Let's see what the trend is, the data. That's important. Don't move by your emotions now. It's great to see green, but I know people get very happy, like, oh my gosh, it's going. Okay, let it play out because there's manipulation. And of course, things like bull traps could be set, and we have to be patient and let these things play out, and let's see what the trends look like. And I tweeted a bunch of things today, just some food for thought. What we saw this past year is a lot of retail investors, people like you and I, left the market, except for us who are the hodlers. There's really a drop in retail investors, but during this bear market, what we saw is a lot of new exchanges popping up, exchanges expanding, mergers and acquisitions, just a lot of services being built out, and of course, big money getting in, big announcements of TD Ameritrade Fidelity, backed, of course, powered by the New York Stock Exchange, partnering with Starbucks and Microsoft. BAT is, of course, launching December 12th. We're also seeing now the SEC is moving faster as it relates to things regarding ICOs and crypto and so forth. The CFTC said virtual currencies are commodities. So progress actually has been made this year. Of course, the prices haven't moved because we've been in a bear market. And what we learned is that a lot of the big money has been buying over the counter. And this has been reported by multiple, big players in the market. Those who are influencers, those who give outlooks on the market, they have stated that the big money is buying over the counter. For example, Bitcoin, but those who want to buy Bitcoin or Ethereum, they could buy directly from the miners. They can also buy it directly from other companies that have a lot of Bitcoin and Ethereum that, they can buy it directly from them. And of course, we saw even Ripple said that institutional investors, Wall Street, was buying a boatload of XRP from them in their Q3 report. This is all public, right? So what are they doing? They're filling their bags, and eventually they're going to start to sell that. And of course, they're going to pump it back up for the market to go up, because guess what? They have to make an ROI, right? They got to get a return on their investment. They're not doing this for fun. They're not building out their custody services and this and that for fun. This thing it can't just keep moving sideways. I'm just applying logic here, right? And understanding how economics and businesses and all these things work. There's a profit that has to be made. And, they saw what took place in 2017 with the run up from just majority of retail investors. Bitcoin almost went to $20,000. So they see that. And guess what? They're going to quietly fill their bags. It's not going to be reported on mainstream. It's going to be, all negative news like, oh, the market's down, Bitcoin doesn't seem to be moving, crypto seems to be dead. You're going to hear stuff like that. But behind the scenes, they are filling their bags. They're building out their services, custody services, insurance, getting all these things in preparation. One such big news here, guys. We've talked about Mike Novogratz a lot because he's doing a lot, man. This guy, you just remember I reported about this. Him and Goldman Sachs, they both invested in BitGo. And of course, he owns Galaxy Digital, which is an crypto investment fund. And they have just hired former Goldman banker Taylor. So let me give you some details. Mike Novogratz Merchant Bank Galaxy Digital has hired former Goldman Sachs Group Incorporated banker Ian Taylor, according to people familiar with the matter. Taylor will join the firm before year-end to oversee the advisory services arm known as Galaxy Digital Advisors, LLC, said one of the people who requested oh my goodness, I cannot say that word. I'm having issues saying specific words these days. Anyway, because the information isn't public yet, the unit advises clients in the blockchain industry and its services, including token raises, debt and equity private placements, mergers, and restructurings, according to its website. So Mike Novogratz here is building out so many things. He's doing a lot of investing, acquisitions, and so forth. And this is when I remember, I always say, follow the big money, watch what the big money is doing, not so much what they're saying, but what are they doing? What are the moves being made? And we're seeing guys like him and a lot of these Wall Street guys are building out their custody services. They're expanding, acquiring companies. So very big things are happening behind the scenes, and this is important for you to know as an investor, right? And this shows where the market's heading. And like I said, I just so those of you who are new watching the video, we are in the infrastructure stage. That means it's being set up. The big money's setting up their foundations, their services, their custody, whatever it is, and it's in preparation for the next bull run and the continued growth of the market, because this is a new asset class. And you guys should, those of you who have held so far during this bear market, count yourselves lucky, because it is tough to hold, right? With the market being very volatile, and of course the positive news seems to not be moving the market, but it is no one can predict what what catalyst is going to move the market. No one has a crystal ball here, but we can make educated guess. We can look at what's upcoming and say, well, this could be very significant. For example, the launch of BAT. Also, the SEC approving some of these Bitcoin ETFs could certainly spark the bull run. So we got to be patient, but like I said, we're in 1990. I said before, 1994, 1995 of the internet. In doing an analogy here, so things are a bit slow moving. People are still trying to figure out what the hell's going on here, trying to understand. But when you see governments are on board and they're going to regulate it to make money off of it, and the big money is there, that is a good sign. So I've never been more confident than I am today, and I've been in the market since late 2016, and I didn't have news like this to hold me through. So I wish I filled my bags more in 2016. But, in hindsight, it's easy to say that. But, when you don't have news like this. So the people who are getting in now at these low prices, because, these are very low prices for sure compared to what's coming. Count yourselves lucky. You have this news to give you confidence. So that's why I try to share the facts with you guys. Now, I want to share a tweet here from Erik Voorhees, which I thought was interesting, and I definitely agree with it. Erik Voorhees is the CEO of ShapeShift. Many of you have heard of ShapeShift. It's a platform that gives you the power to quickly swap between assets in a seamless, safe, and secure environment. So you can quickly swap between cryptos. He tweeted the following today: when the next global financial crisis occurs, the world realizes organizations with 20 trillion in debt can't possibly ever pay it back, and thus must print it instead. And thus fiat is doomed. Watch what happens to crypto. And we've already seen that. The birth of Bitcoin came from the 2008 crash, right? I don't think I need to tell you guys the history of that. And it's going to continue, because why? Fiats are failing. Even the US dollar has been devaluing and devaluing. The statistics and data is out there. We look at countries like Venezuela and other countries where fiat is failing and inflation is crazy. And even in Venezuela, people are using crypto. So the more that they continue to do these things with how the banks and all of that is operating with high risk, and they crash the economy, and then fiat continues to fail and they keep printing the money, you're going to see a shift to crypto. And I think that's why we're seeing the big players like Wall Street getting into this. Your TD Ameritrade, your Fidelity, do they... is it something that they need crypto? No, they're making a lot of money, but they are also aware of the things that are happening, many of which they're contributing to, and it's the wise move to get ahead of it and be prepared. And that's where we're headed, guys. So that's why I encourage you to keep holding. This is the new asset class. Blockchain is a revolutionary technology, just like the internet. It's going to change the world, and we just got to be patient. Now, moving into some other news here with Ripple. Now, if you guys remember, someone found a lobbying report, which was hosted on House.gov of the United States House of Representatives. It shows they have to put out the reports of who's lobbying and who visited and who's talking to who there, right? Well, apparently there's a lot of them. Ripple has been lobbying a lot, and this is not like new news, so to speak. Remember, we saw articles about Ripple lobbying politicians, paying them in XRP. They have a coalition, SAIV. Well, I want to show you these forums, and I'll put a link. This guy on Reddit found it, so shout out to him. And it has links to all of the reports here, the disclosure forums, talking going back to early as April of 20th, 2018. And we have July, we have August, we have October, 2 times in October, it looks like. So Ripple has been doing a lot. And of course they are. Remember, Corey Johnson said they've been talking with the White House. So there's a lot of things happening that we don't know about. Obviously, I hold XRP, I hold Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Basic Attention Token, Stellar Lumens. I have a lot in my portfolio. Majority of it is XRP, of course. And my top 3, so to speak, is XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum. And what Ripple as a company, the great, thing that they can do is easily go out and market their business and, of course, lobby politicians and meet face-to-face with people to get laws in their favor for crypto and so forth. So I wanted to share this with you guys because it's proof of the activities that are happening. And I think very big things are ahead for Ripple because they are leading the charge in real-world adoption, right? The ability to disrupt a multi-trillion-dollar industry of cross-border payments, which SWIFT currently has a handle on. And because they're a real company, they can market the business very well. We've seen on Ellen, they donate to charity. And, of course, they can lobby politicians, which every company essentially has to do to get laws and regulations in their favor. So they're really leading the charge. And as much hate as Ripple gets and XRP, all the FUD that's spread, they are actually one of the main drivers of growing this market, being a top 3 crypto. And like I said, real world utility, changing the narrative of Bitcoin's only used by terrorists and criminals and scammers, right? To crypto can actually be used to solve real world problems along with blockchain. So once again, I'll put a link in here so you guys can check out all of these disclosures. They're all on the, like I said, government websites. This is not something made up. It's disclosures.house.gov. So definitely something to take a look at. Now, some additional XRP news. CRED, which is a company that gives, let's say, a line of credit to lift you to your potential. So they're obviously a lending company here. Well, they said now Ripple customers have the opportunity to hold their XRP long term without the need to sell or incur tax. XRP hodlers can borrow as low as a single-digit interest rates when they visit mycred.io and click Get Early Access. So we're seeing a lot of these come up. We saw Uphold, and there's many others. Liquid, I believe, is another one. These guys are launching loan services and credit opportunities based on the assets that you're holding, which is crypto. Now, I would caution you to be careful here. The same way if you're going to take a line of credit out on your house or whatever it is or whatever assets. So you definitely want to be smart about this, right? I'm not a financial investment advisor, but just giving my opinion. You want to be careful with this. If this is something you want to do, you can, but make sure you read the fine details, right? Because this gets involved with loan and borrowing money and all of that. So, but the interesting thing here, this is a real world process, so to speak, or activity, because people get lines of credit, they get loans and so forth, and usually they borrow against something. Sometimes they don't, but like a line of credit will be like, for example, if you own a house, you can get a line of credit against a house and so forth. Well, you can do that against this asset of crypto. So that is a real world adoption here where people can start borrowing against this. So it's very interesting stuff happening here. And they did a press release. Excuse me. So CRED secures 50 million global credit facility to lend against XRP. So as you can see, the use cases here growing for XRP and crypto in general. So very interesting. And let's see, we're thrilled to offer XRP holders the same low rates and convenient liquidity services as ETH and Bitcoin holders. So obviously it's available for Ethereum and Bitcoin, and now they have XRP. So very, very interesting. Next news here regarding XRP, November. This is from So November 6th, this actually launched. Turkish Exchange Coinzo is live. XRP is amongst the 6 coins listed with, I guess this is a Turkish money fiat here and BTC pairs. So continued adoption of XRP, but like we're seeing exchanges pop up globally, guys. So man, this next bull run is going to be big. It's going to be big. I mean, you see the amount of exchanges that are popping up, guys. It is, and like I said, a whole variety of crypto. Obviously, Leonidas here, he's part of the XRP community, so he's gonna highlight XRP. But there's other coins on here too, and this next big bull run is gonna be huge, guys, because there's not gonna be a problem like last year with exchanges had to close their doors. That was, of course, I think part of what killed. I shouldn't say kill, but it cooled off the bull run because exchanges had to close their doors, and we could have seen higher prices for sure. Exchanges couldn't handle the volume, but now a lot of them expanded, more countries, more fiat pairings, definitely a lot more fiat pairings, and a lot of new exchanges, guys, and a lot more access for people to buy crypto, even in different countries in Africa. Obviously, Africa is a continent. There's different countries in Africa, Europe, in Asia. It's happening. Canada, they got some big players, obviously, and down in South America as well. So this next ride up, man, if you guys are patient and you hold, it's going to be big. And I always tell you guys, during this year, look how many exchanges popped up, and even in a bear market. And you have to understand the business aspect. If you think from this from a business and economic standpoint, these guys didn't start their exchanges to lose money and just to make little profits. They're looking at the long term, right? They're not looking short term. They're looking long term because they know what's coming. And especially when you see these big players are getting in the market, guys. So institutional money is here. They're buying over the counter, and there's going to be more coming in later on. But we got to be patient here, and then definitely it's going to be big next time around. Coinbase, we saw them list, basic attention token BAT on Coinbase Pro. I think it was last week or something. They've moved it to Coinbase.com. So for, here for the general public, so to speak. So we saw that a fire has been lit under their ass because they were getting destroyed by Binance, which is global, and Bittrex, which has been killing it, adding fiat pairing, listing a whole bunch of coins. And Bittrex has had a lot of coins for the most part. And then Bittrex became a Ripple X Rapid exchange partner. So Coinbase is now trying to catch up listing coins. Of course, everybody's waiting for them to list XRP. Now, XRP does not need Coinbase, and Coinbase needs XRP because of the way Coinbase is, XRP and what Ripple is doing and with the adoption. But what we're seeing is that, Coinbase doesn't have that power anymore of when coins go in there, they start pumping big time. They've been sitting on their hands on their big stash of Ethereum and Bitcoin Cash, and they got greedy, and then the market just moved past them, all the other exchanges, and now they're like trying to catch up. And I think that's why Adam White left them and went to BAT. If you remember, I did that, I did a video on that. I think that's why he left. And I think we've been seeing some different change up in lineups at Coinbase as far as personnel. And I think that's why he left and he went to BAT, because he's probably like, this is, Coinbase had the ability to become a BAT, so to speak, or to be bigger than they are and just rule the U.S. market. But don't get me wrong, they're still big and well known, but they could have been, killing it, making a lot of money. But the competition's here. And they've been sitting on their hands too long. And of course, everybody knows the drama. And I think people know about the details of them wanting, companies to pay millions of dollars to list. So good luck with that. And we'll see. I've said it before. I believe they will be forced to list XRP because they will lose out on their revenue. When as XRP being a number 3 crypto, Ripple doing great marketing, it's going to get more exposure. And watch when these financial institutions go fully live on XRapid. XRapid's live, but we have 3 financial institutions slated to go live this quarter. Do we have the hard dates of when they're going live? No, but definitely by December, obviously, because the quarter is going to be up. And then Brad Garlinghouse said dozens next year. So I believe Coinbase is going to be forced to, because Ripple's going to start marketing heavy as that goes live and the volume kicks in. You're going to see the volume on being moved on CoinMarketCap and Litecoin Watch. And, the price is going to go up. And not only that, I keep telling you guys, people are missing the other. It doesn't seem to get as much coverage, but Spring is going to be big as well. Spring, people talk about Coil, and they don't realize Coil is one of the companies within Spring, and Coil is, of course, leveraging XRP. I've interviewed Omni, the CEO and founder of Omni. They just integrated XRP Phase 1 and Phase 2 and Phase 3 coming. Scooter Braun, who runs SB Projects and deals with a lot of high-profile artists and musicians like Ariana Grande, Justin Bieber, and so forth. He's going to be using XRP with SB Projects for helping those posts and monetize their content. And there's a whole bunch of other companies. So what Ripple's doing is funding these companies, injecting XRP into their marketplaces and ecosystems. And that is going to drive volume as well. That's pretty big. And it's and so that coupled with XRapid, but also XRP being used as a base currency, will create a lot of volume. And wait till Codius goes live. Now, there's something I mentioned to you guys yesterday about Ethereum and BBVA, where a loan was $150 million loan was added to the Ethereum blockchain, a syndicated loan on the Ethereum blockchain, which is big. And like I said, a whole Ethereum, I believe Ethereum is going to be definitely a winner coming out of this market. And it included Japan's Mitsubishi UFG Financial Group. The Mitsubishi and the BBVA are both Ripple customers, but not for this type of activity, not a smart contract type of activity. And with Ripple having partnerships with all these folks, over 200 banks, wait till Codius goes live, because that's their smart contract platform. And that's going to be the missing piece, and it's going to compete with Ethereum and the other smart contract projects out there. But the great thing, what's going to happen is Codius is going to obviously be able to use XRP, but also if you already have partnerships with hundreds of banks, all you got to do is get them at the table. Here's Codius. Here's what you can do with it. It's going to be an easy transition for them. So I'm hoping Ripple launches that soon. Maybe we might see it in early 2019, because that's going to be big. And you're going to see these types of activity where loans, and let me just refresh your memory here about what this is. A Spanish banking giant BBVA has completed a pilot to put a syndicated loan for $150 on the blockchain. Let's see. Let me see. The syndicated loan where a group of banks together lends together to a single borrower. So things like this is what Ripple is going to be able to do with Codius. And of course, it's going to be a great segue from if the bank is using Xcurrent, XRapid, or RippleNet, so to speak. It's now rebranded. Obviously, it's going to be easy segue into that. So, big things coming. We got to be patient. But this is the future, guys. New asset class, new technology. We're seeing adoption slowly but surely. And I hope you guys continue to hold. I hope you don't invest with your emotions and move by emotions. And it's, I've said this before. I know there's new people watching. I said it's going to be a roller coaster ride up to the bull run. You go back and watch my videos. I said that, right? And just as we're seeing here, we saw a pump, right? Going up, going back down a little bit. Then it could go back up, right? It's a roller coaster ride, but that's okay. This is a young market, a lot of volatility. But because it's young and we are early adopters, we have the potential to make significant profits, a lot of money here. I know quite a few people who made a lot of money off the last run up, especially around Ethereum, because they got in early. And trust me, I wish I invested it, when they did, because their lives have been changed. But, they were patient because they didn't know it was going to run up like that. No one knew, okay, well, it's going to jump this amount, X percentage, right? But now we know. So it's not like you have nothing to go off of. And even so, let's say we didn't have that run up, last year. I always tell you guys, look back at the charts. There's incremental growth year over year, higher lows, meaning the prices goes up higher and the corrections build new support levels. So it's a higher low. Look back at the charts. We are higher than we ever have been. I'm not talking about, as far as the run-ups, but rather the support levels, right? What is the low for each year? And you'll see it's incrementally growing. And because it's an emerging market, it's a new asset class. And now we're in one of the great times here where big money is in and more is to come. So guys, what do you think about this news? Leave your thoughts and comments below. Thumbs up if you like this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Also, please help share my channel with your friends and family who want to learn about crypto. You know how I do it here. No over speculations. We look at the facts. We take a logical business approach here. So thank you guys for your support, and I'll talk to you all later.